Motion verbs have the reputation of being kind of challenging, so let's start with some easy, sensible questions. Are these two things the same or different? Well, both are objects, both have mass, but most would agree that they're different enough that it makes sense to use different words. So we say hedgehog and space station. Russians have also noticed the differences between the two, so in Russian we'll say yosh and kosмическая станция. Let's do one more comparison. Are these the same or different? Again, there are similarities. Both have colors, both are shapes, but let's zero in on one big difference. On the top, we've got a shape that suggests motion in one direction. The shape on the bottom suggests motion in more than one direction. And as far as Russian grammar is concerned, this is every bit as important as the difference between a hedgehog and a space station. Let's develop this a little more. Motion in more than one direction could cover a few different scenarios. Consider a round trip, or multiple round trips, or aimless motion, or just the ability to move around with no particular destination. We can think of all of these as contrasting with motion in a single general direction. So please draw a mental line between these two groups. For Russian, they are just as distinct as the hedgehogs and space stations that we looked at earlier. So, Russian, very sensibly, has a word for going in one direction, идти, and a different word for going in more than one direction, ходить. English is a little odd here in that we often use the same word, go, for all sorts of different situations. You can go into a room, go to Mars, go by car, go on foot, in one direction or many directions. All of these different actions are just going. In Russian, though, the difference between motion in one direction and motion in different directions is fundamental. In fact, later you'll see it mapped onto concepts like running, swimming, flying, and carrying too. Now, it is true that we do sometimes make this distinction in English. Think about how we might talk about repeated round trips in the simple present tense. I go to the store every day. But to talk about motion in one direction, most native speakers would say, I'm going to the store. Or we might use other expressions like, I'm headed to the store, or I'm on my way to the store. In English, we don't always have to make this distinction, but with motion verbs in Russian, we always do. Summing up, Russian distinguishes between hedgehogs and space stations, and it also distinguishes between going in many directions and going in one general direction.